Hello everyone. I literally had like a minute of progress. I was actually getting really invested, and then someone called me, and they wanted to be on the phone for 20 fucking minutes. You are my enslavement and my freedom. You are my flesh burning like a raw summer night. You are my country. I think I'm just gonna do what I did the first time. You opened your eyes to this world. You came from a middle-income family. Your parents named you Antoine as the only child of a diligent family servant. You lived a quite ordinary childhood. Life was not bad. You were lucky enough to attend a well-known public school, but frequent fights broke out amongst the Rayan family home. These made you feel uneasy. The years passed. During a history class at school, the bell started to ring unexpectedly. You heard a loud commotion inside. As everyone tried to figure out what was going on, the principal announced the historical revolution. The kingdom was no more. The Republic of Suzerain was born. You did not fully understand. No, I'm gonna go with this. You were happy you had the day off. Oh my god, is another bitch really gonna bother my fucking recording? After graduating, you passed the university exam with high marks. You had an opportunity to choose between several studies you chose. I think I'll go for something different this time. Law. During the first year's well-known son of the president, he was a well-known diplomat from the foreign ministry. The son of the president. I can't speak English. After observing the hall supreme, he stated the law should be applied fairly. You're subject to the same laws. You agree in principle. Soldiers enter the campus in the evening of the first elections. Many were in shock as the uniformed men created a social conduit, security corridor, and started arresting the teachers. As a group of students began gathering in protest, along with your best friend, you decide to avoid any confrontation. You heard a loud announcement that echoed throughout the campus. General declared martial law in order to restore the administration. Please stand back and disperse to your rooms. You quickly made your way towards the dormitoriums, avoiding the scene. You did exactly as they said. For fuck's sake, someone else is gonna fucking bother me right now. Thank God. As you entered the room, you heard screams coming from the outside. You tried to bury yourself underneath the sheets, but the screams echoed. It was a gloomy year. Placed that promoted conformism to the state, turned a blind eye to things that were happening. You didn't want to stay idle. You decided to join a human rights group. Heavily protest against the deteriorating human rights situation. You contributed in thorough discussions on how to protect and expand freedoms. In one meeting, introduced to one of his friends, Monica, who was a volunteer from League of Women. You were immediately attracted to her beauty, her intelligence, her diligence. Her intelligence. The political charged motivation or charged environment led you to join the Red Youth, the Socialists, join the Young Sons, the Nationalists. Stay away from any political organization. Join the Red Youth. The radio relayed the communist general surrounded and his troops demanded their surrender. They refused and heavy fighting broke out across the country. You couldn't believe it. The army was fighting amongst themselves. Plundered into chaos. Sudden attack caused more instability to the country, but compared to fascist, he was a real socialist. This convinced you to participate in the support march. You were chanting, "Workers of the world, unite, bring down fascists, freedom, equality, and solidarity." You were marching under the protection of soldiers. I don't know how to say his name. The students opposing the coup gathered a few hundred meters in front of you. Many nationalists were among them. You knew something was going to happen. You stayed. Massive clash between the two sides. Soldiers began beating the students. Tanks started rolling forward. In this chaotic movement, you saw a young girl about to get ran over by a tank. You ran over to save her. But you couldn't reach her in time. You never forgot her face. Escalated into a full-blown civil war. The horrors made you isolate yourself for a while. Monica helped you cope, and love grew between the two of you. However, it was a difficult time for love. The chaos must end. The charismatic orchestrated a sudden coup. I don't know how the fuck to say any of these words. I'm brain dead. And brought an end to the chaos. He wrote the new constitution and restored stability. People saw him as a savior. He formed the United Sutherland Party and ran as a presidential candidate. In the first ever elections, you did not vote. USP won the election by a large majority. After graduating, you kept seeing Monica and noticed her interest to marry. However, a letter arrived from the military calling you to fulfill your compulsory service. It was your time to join the national whatever the fuck. A devastating civil war broke out in the neighboring countries. What the fuck? Ordered you to lead your squad on a border patrol mission. It was a very cold winter night when you began marching out of the outpost. You could see your breath. After several hours of marching through the snowy hills, distant noises were heard. Visibility was too low to confirm the source. The squad crawled forward in formation and found a spot to observe. A group of refugees had made it beyond the border fence. You let them slip through. After the patrol, I'm just gonna call him Lance. Major Lance arrived with anger and immediately relieved you of your command, calling you a disappointment. One of your squad members had reported your actions. After several months of scrubbing the floors as a punishment, your duties ended and you went back to civilian life. You and Monica decided to share the rest of your lives together. After receiving the blessing of her parents, a ceremony was held. During the same year, you worked hard to secure a high-paying job in the government. It was much much more difficult to start your career on a good foot because of the refugee incident, but you still managed. Working for the ruling party was the easiest path to power. The financial compensation was too great to pass up. Best opportunity to change the country for the better. You became the legal associate of one of the more experienced members of the assembly. You worked long and hard, staying late at work, and going through hundreds of pages of legal documents. You were climbing the ladder. Strengthen the republic by removing the institution and symbols of the former kingdom from society. Things were also looking up for the country as the massive economy boom continued. People were the happiest they'd been in a decade. Election time came, and it was decided it was elected once more. The ongoing legal battle between the Justice Administration and the Supreme Court put you under a lot of stress. But your significant contribution to the legal case triggered an invitation to meet President himself, who offered you a key position. You were to become the youngest member of the assembly. You accepted with doubts. As the youngest MP, it was difficult to connect with your influential inner circle. To connect with your influential inner circle, you needed allies. So you brought PR as your right-hand man. The birth of your son proved to be a brief moment of joy. You sacrificed work to spend time with your family, sacrificed family to improve your position in the party. Sacrificed work. During your absence, Pierre found trustworthy contacts and strengthened your position in the party. At the same time, increased his authority over the years. His growing ego started to cause strife within the party. The cracks began to show. President had barely managed to secure a majority in the election against the opposition leader. Over the past year, people were growing discontent with corruption and the worsening quality of life. Meanwhile, calls from a united party Congress became louder as a leadership struggle began to brew. You watched from the sidelines, kept supporting the president, watched from the sidelines. The contender of the party leadership was also a reformist and a talented business magnate with a growing popularity within the party. Meanwhile, in a desperate effort to secure votes before Congress was meeting the party members one by one, he approached you too. The president offered you a position in the Ministry of Justice in law if you backed him up on the upcoming vote. You accepted. It was nothing short of impressive. The banners of the United who were decorated at every possible spot. Thousands of influential political figures, lobbyists, and benefactors gathered for the turning point. The voting party leadership began. You voted against the president. The efforts bore fruit as the won by. During the Congress, Stoll announced his retirement from politics, established too. The country had become increasingly authoritarian. You didn't care who was in charge. You were happy that Stoll was finally leaving. A month later, your daughter was born. Monica named her Dina, I think. She motivated you during a turbulent period in the party. The general elections were approaching. The United, under new leadership, you joined and campaigned for him. Joined the party effort and campaigned for him. During the general elections, the main opposition leader, who was embroiled in a sex scandal with his secretary, he was replaced by a strong opposition figure, but the damage had been done. The extensive, I don't know how the fuck to say that, program proposed by the president secured an election victory for the United Party. Over the next years, you did your best in order to make... You tried all that was necessary to climb the ladder. Dedicated yourself to the party and your success. I actually don't know what I'm gonna do here. Fuck. This is a tough call. Fuck me, this is hard. Tried your best to make it a better place. The president saw bold reforms, but was followed by a serious economical recession. The other parties announced their bids for the election, but the unfair system harpered all opposition to win. You thought that your party could not survive another crisis, were worried about the economic resurgence, worried about your reputation would be tarnished along with also. Worried about the economic recession. Together with Pierre, your presence in the U.S. grew, and you became a new face in a new... Goddamn. The face of a new wing in the party. You effectively took over leadership as president, lost control of the country. The moment to make a move had come. You bribed and extorted. You advised him to step down. He didn't take your advice seriously and started to reshuffle his cabinet, but most of his inner circle abandoned him. Your diplomatic attitude made the party vote you in as the leader. Following this, you announced you would be running for president in the general election with Pierre as your running mate. It was your turn. After visiting every in the command, you made a speech on television. You promised to democratic reforms. People are tired of empty promises. We need fundamental change in our institution and government. A solid and transparent democracy awaits us. Brothers and sisters, a new constitution and a new age is upon us. The broadcast ended. Millions of people went out to cast their votes. It was time for the truth. Prologue. Holy shit, that was the prologue? Oh my fucking god, I love this. President Reagan. I think I'm gonna end this episode here. Holy shit, that reading really fucked with me. Background, hold on, I'll set this up first, I guess. Sorry, I really need to make sure my dude is set. Rebellious, stylish, gentleman's hat. Okay, I look like a fucking mafia member. Yeah, I'm sure. Promises to people in order to gain their votes. Economic, been based on a planned democracy since its foundation. Former president. Promote free market, promote planned economy. Promote free market. Democracy, the intensifying global rivalry between capitalism Defying communism. Opening up new democratic. Gonna align itself with. I'm not sure. Keep immigration relaxed. On itself closer to 1. I'm gonna align myself with neither. Promise to focus on first term. People expect us to solve the negative situation within this topic while providing an overall improvement to the related politics. Education, health, law, and enforcement, military. I think we've had enough law and enforcement if I had to take a guess. Health. Okay, I need to work for the health, I guess. Two weeks have passed since you've won the election. Hold on. How do I... Holy shit. Sends his congratulations to your great victory and wishes us close. He also congratulated democracy. Cool. Save and exit to main menu. Well, I have fucking enjoyed the hell out of this game so far, and I'm barely even finished the fucking prologue. So, I'll see you in the next episode, because I'm definitely doing this again.